Increasingly, American police are treated as an invading army, maybe the Confederate Army. In Minneapolis, rioters invaded and burned down a police precinct building. In response to this, the city council did not support the police. They blamed the police and vowed to disband the entire police department. The police shows live PD and cops have now been canceled. In the city of Boston, Berklee College of Music has issued a formal apology for the crime of allowing uniformed police officers to use the men's room. At Berklee College of Music, the bathrooms are segregated, it turns out. In Miami, some mostly peaceful protesters attacked a police car, and when the officers responded, the rest of the mostly peaceful protesters made it clear how they felt. Watch this. Miami, by the way, is one of the few remaining American cities where the city leaders don't hate their own city and themselves, and so they allow the police to respond with force to force, as they ought to be allowed to do. But it doesn't change the fact that police everywhere are getting an awful lot of hatred directed at them, and under these circumstances, you shouldn't be shocked to learn a lot of police are thinking of going and doing something else. Tulsa Police Major Travis Yates just wrote a very moving essay about that. He joins us tonight. Mr. Yates, thanks so much. Officer, thanks for coming on tonight. So you wrote a piece that has gone around, maybe some of our viewers have seen it. I found it really bracing, and essentially you said, why would people want to continue doing this? Summarize what you wrote, if you would.
You know, it's pretty wild, Tucker. I wrote that Monday night late, and it was almost like God was with me when I wrote it, because it just flowed in about 9 or 10 minutes. And quite honestly, when I got done with it, I wasn't sure I liked it. And I uploaded it, and I called my editor the very next morning, and I said, we ought to think about maybe taking that down, right? And, of course, he didn't take it down, and the rest is history. But I think I was pulling the emotions from officers around the country and what they're feeling. Tucker, very much so, we're the silent majority. Officers are afraid to speak out. They're afraid to talk. Just like the article said, you're only your next call away from being canceled or destroyed. And so officers feel very limited. And I think citizens do too. And we had just as many citizens that commented on that article and sent us great emails on that.
So you say in the piece, I mean, I'm sure there are clearly cops who shouldn't be cops and they're there for the wrong reasons. But your profile seems more common to me. You're the son of a cop. You always wanted to do it. You really believe in the job. But you're not getting rich doing it. Are you going to continue doing it? Are your friends who are police officers going to continue doing it? What effect is this going to have?
Well, I think, Ferguson was a tough time for us because, as everybody knows, from President Obama's administration, they found no evidence of wrongdoing in Ferguson, even though the narrative is quite different. And so law enforcement morale went really, really low during that time period. And we kind of came out of that, and we were kind of making a resurgence in recent years. And this has just been devastating. This is Ferguson times 1,000. And every department, every officer you talk to is looking to leave. Some of them obviously can't. They have families, they've got jobs. But the officers that are probably struggling the most are the officers with 10 to 15 years on, because you can't really leave yet. But I've heard from hundreds of people that are so discouraged they want to leave. They love the job, Tucker. They love the community. They love the people. But all of this chaos is just wearing on them every single day.
So what kind of people are going to want to become cops? So if we did this to the Navy SEALs and said the Navy SEALs are evil, presumably impressive people wouldn't want to be Navy SEALs. Who's going to want to become a police officer under these circumstances? Only the worst people, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's really, when you think about it, it's the only profession that it's still kind of cool to discriminate against. It's kind of cool to spit in people's food. It's kind of cool to cuss at. And because we're supposed to just sit there and take it. The article talked about that. And it's really amazing what they expect, human beings to put up with. And it takes a toll on our men and women. And I've seen that in their eyes. And there's only so long you can do that, Tucker. And so we've got to have the risk enough to do it. And right now, unfortunately, the risk is too high. And it's a struggle because they want to stay. They want to do the job. But they have to look at the risk that the very next day they can literally be destroyed for doing everything right.
Yeah, people calling you racist for no reason. I mean, the police are important. We need good police. We should do everything we can to weed out the bad ones, but support the good ones and make sure good people want to become cops. Last question to you, Major Yates. Are you optimistic at all about the future of law enforcement? I mean, how worried are you?
Well, I'm extremely concerned, and you mentioned racist earlier. And the bar has been set so low for that, Tucker. That's really concerning. It's the worst thing you can call a police officer. I've been branded that for years now, and now it's almost at a high pitch. I could be the most hated police officer in America right now, all because I have the audacity to talk about that I did not believe there was systematic racism in policing. I have the data to show it. And what happened was, because that narrative was completely against what other narratives are, they twisted what I said and said that I think we should kill more black people. It's just outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous, and they have, they destroyed me and my family. So the risks are so extreme. It's very much a struggle. But I pray that the profession can come back. We came back once before, but this almost seems like too much.
It feels that way to me too. We're proud to have you on. I know you've taken a lot of criticism. I think it's unfair. I think it distorts what you said, and we're happy to have you on this show. Major Yates, thanks.
Thank you.